Hi everybody, welcome back. This week is something super exciting. We're doing something a little different than the Realtor Spotlight. We are doing an interior designer spotlight with Rachal. She just started her own company, Sand and Stone Sedona, and Fairway loves to support small businesses and local businesses. So Halie, go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Yes, I am an interior designer in the Sedona area. I service all of northern Arizona and outside states if that's where projects take me. My mission as an interior designer is to create thoughtful, beautiful interiors that meet my clients' aesthetic, functional, and economic goals. And I do that while celebrating the nature that surrounds them. So I draw a lot of inspiration from Sedona, no matter where my projects take me. And that inspiration doesn't just come from obviously the beautiful red rocks, it comes from raw elements. So the name Sand and Stone gets its name from literal sand and stone, largely due to the fact that I love those textures, those colors, and the way that those items feel. So if you think of sand, sand is very fine and sometimes soft to the touch, and then stone is usually jagged and rough. And then when you bring in that earthy red Sedona tone to it, you pretty much have my favorite color palette and my favorite textures. So that's a lot of what I do with my designs, but I also love to incorporate pops of color, and I obviously tailor all of my designs to each individual client. I just use my sand and stone aesthetic as the base, which is awesome because it's a lot of warm neutrals and it's easy to build on from there.
So say somebody only wants to redecorate their home once every 20 years. Is there a color palette or a theme that's timeless to them? So if they do it now, it'll stay popular or trendy 20 years from now?
Absolutely. I think that in design there are a lot of staples, a lot of that stemming from the soft and the warmer neutrals that I use as well. But I incorporate some of the newer, trendy finishes, furniture, etc. The good news is that furniture is changeable. So if it's not something that you love 20 years from now and you need to replace the statement sofa, it's something that can be done. But I think that when it comes to selecting finishes and when it comes to home remodels and renovations, redoing a whole kitchen, a bathroom, anything that's going to be permanent in the home or more so permanent than furniture, I really try to stick to materials that will be timeless. And the reason being is because I want my work to last 20 plus years. And I really try to strive to pay close attention to the attention to detail. And I feel like the closer you focus on the detail and the more you're focused on, the 1/8 of the inch next to the cabinet rather than the whole picture, the more it flows seamlessly. And really that seamlessness is what creates an overall beautiful image that can create that timeless design.
Okay. Do you have a favorite room to decorate?
Ooh, that's a good one. When it comes to furniture selections, I love bedrooms.
Okay.
The reason why I love bedrooms is I think that they're so personal to each individual person. And someone could love, a spa, zen-like feel, and someone else could like something really romantic and moody. And so I think there's a lot of room to play with bedroom design. But when it comes to my favorite room in the house to select finishes, I would for sure say the kitchen. Anytime I could get out a kitchen and reselect countertops and flooring and hardware, that's really where my heart is happiest, because that's the heart of the home. It's where everyone spends their time, it's where you make your dinners, it's where you clean up, it's where you host. So I would say if I had to pick one, I couldn't, so I would pick the two.
Okay, perfect. So what kind of projects do you do?
I love that question because I'll do anything. If someone has a room already put together and their focal point, like a sofa or the bed frame, isn't really working and tying everything together, and they just need some consultation on that, I would love to do that. If someone is building a home from the ground up and wants all custom everything, I would love to do that as well. So one of the things that I really want to do as Sand and Stone interior design is be able to design for anybody, for anything. So someone who, loves design but is not totally in the know on how to do that themselves, but has a smaller budget and also loves Target decor. I would love to work with you. If you just bought a $5.5 million house and you have a $5.5 million budget, I would love to work with you. So it doesn't matter what it is, I would love to help. And the reason being is just because I feel very strongly that everyone should live in a space that they love. And I would hate for finances or for lack of knowledge to be a hindrance to that. So however I can help.
That's so great. I love that. I feel like there's such a stigma around interior design and that it's always so expensive to ask for help on design, and because there's so many outlets like Pinterest and Instagram, people think that I can just do it myself and I can just look it up, but it's so nice to have a professional perspective and going to that person and saying, hey, my target budget is this and I can't afford the really expensive couch or paint colors, you know, like I just want to go to Target and make it my space, then that's great too. So I love that you have that option for people.
I should also mention, since we're targeting homeowners and realtors as well, one of the things that I love to do is my 3D designs. So I can do floor plans and full rooms, full houses in 3D, which basically allows the client to walk through the space without there being any room for question as to what this design is going to look like at the end result. That combined obviously with my material boards and my thorough process from start to finish. But if any realtors need staging, I don't rent out furniture as of yet. I'm hoping to do that somewhere down the line. But since I am a newer company, I would be able to offer virtual staging as well.
Awesome. I think virtual staging is definitely where we're headed. Obviously, everything is so technological these days. Everything is online, everything is tech, everything is on your phone or your computer. And I think a lot of staging can be done online, and I think that that's going to be helpful, especially if people live in another state and they're buying a home here. They don't want to fly in just to look at a couch. You know, it'll be really nice to be able to just look at that online and be able to tell what you like. So that's a great tool. I will definitely leave her information at the end for any realtors watching that want to use her. And then anybody who's watching, if you are a homeowner and you're interested, Fairway obviously offers cash out refinances. You can just check and see how much equity you have in your home. We do offer cash out refis where you can come and you can take out money and renovate your home. And like I said in the beginning of the video, everything is timeless. You can do things over 20 years. So just because you're doing it right now doesn't mean that it's only going to fit the trends of right now. So I think it's definitely a good idea to come in and let us qualify you and see how much equity you do have and see if it's a possibility for you.
Okay, so here's an example of a project that I'm currently working on. I'm going to start over here with the floor plans. So this is a floor and furniture layout for the contractors as well as for the client, just to get an idea of where things are going to go. In this particular project that I'm working on, this is a full kitchen renovation. In the original house, there is a wall here and a pony wall here, and the sink is on this side. And so the island acts as the cooking area, and all of this is cabinetry. So obviously here I've knocked down some walls and I've made more of a galley kitchen using the island as the second part of the galley. This is all still a work in progress. This is a very new project right now. So these are the very early stages. As every stage goes on, it gets more and more realistic, more and more obviously finalized. Another thing that I do with my contractors is show them my kitchen elevations, especially if I'm doing something custom. So this helps for two reasons. One is for scale, so that the contractors know exactly what they're building. The other is for the client. This helps keep them organized. So a lot of what I do, or a lot of what I have in mind while I'm doing kitchen renovations, is where are things gonna go? Where do we want our pots? Where do we want our pans? Where do we want our silverware? Where do we want to keep our bowls? And I also want to make sure that it's functional to the homeowner as well. So what works for one person may not work for another person, and that's part of what I do in my planning. So this kitchen here that you're seeing is this kitchen in 3D. This is one of my 3D renderings. It is something that, like I said, is a work in progress. So this is renovation 2 of, now I have 4 different options. And what I do each time is slightly tweak the finishes and I slightly tweak the layouts until me and client come to an understanding of, yes, we nailed it, this is what I love. And I also keep in mind the different angles and the different views that we see, because we want to make sure it looks beautiful from everywhere you look at it in the home. Moving over to my material board, this is some of the inspiration I have for this house. I'm calling it Project Wild Horse. And the reason why I'm calling it Project Wild Horse is, one, because me and the owner have a mutual love for horses, but also because Wild Horse to me is all things nature, all things natural, and I have a very deep appreciation for natural beauty. I think natural beauty is found in Sedona in these earthy reds, in the earthy greens, obviously bringing in real life plants. I am obsessed currently with this marble. It's a Calicotta Gold. And this is definitely a new trend right now, but going back to our timeless conversation, juxtaposing this new trend with some neutral colors will make this timeless. In this particular house, this is the flooring in the bedroom. So the bedroom is going to be a lot moodier, and I really like that about this particular project. As I was saying before, I love how each bedroom is very unique to each individual client, and this particular client loves that romantic, moody look, which is a personal favorite of mine as well. So this is kind of how I present to the clients, just to make sure my color palette is what they're looking for. I like to include textures as well. If you were able to feel this, you'd be able to feel this has that very sandy texture. It does have some roughness to it, but it's also soft and fine. And the color is a perfect tie-in. And then this particular tile sample is a beautiful one in my opinion, but it's very, it's handmade. So there's a lot of imperfections to it, which again comes from that natural beauty that I love so much. I don't think everything needs to be perfect in a home. I think that having a few moments of imperfection really puts the cherry on top.
So hopefully that was super helpful. I obviously love all of her designs. I think that all of her material will fit perfectly in Sedona, and she vibes really great with Sedona. If you have any questions for her, I will leave her information at the end of this video. Please reach out to her. She is so great and so easy to work with. I hope all of you get to work with her.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem.